Good morning, friends. It is a beautiful Sunday morning in the city. I'm so excited to go uptown and see all of the beautiful decorations and the store windows, the tree in Rockefeller Center. Of course, things are a little bit different this year. You can't gather around the tree. You can only kind of do a drive-by to get a glimpse of it, but still excited to do something festive and sort of get out of my little corner of the city, go uptown and see all the beautifully decorated store windows. I'm going to be joining my friend Colleen, who I've not seen in so long, so I'm really excited to see her and catch up on all that we have missed this year. I thought that it might be fun to wear sort of more of a festive makeup look today, since I will probably not be having that many opportunities this year to do anything festive. I thought I'd do a little bit of Holidazzle makeup today. Nothing over the top, but a little bit more fun than usual. So I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, the lighting is a little better today. Still not great and still fiddling with it, but it's much less gray today, so hopefully it will be a little bit better. I'm not even sure if I will end up posting yesterday's everyday makeup clip because the lighting was just so horrific, so I'm going to repeat some of the products that I mentioned just in case I don't end up using that content. So this is a new product I just bought in the Sephora sale. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. And this is sort of a multi-use product from what I understand. You can use it under your foundation or you can just use it as a highlighter. I have it in shade 1 Fair, and I have tried it under foundation. It didn't really work for me that way, but it could also be the foundation that I was using, so I'll still play around with it and maybe a different foundation will be better. But I have really been liking using it under my eyes to bring a little bit of brightness to that area before I apply my concealer. And actually I even do it in like the inner corners where I have a lot of dark pigmentation, and then just a little bit here on my cheekbones, and I just use my finger to blend it. It blends really easily. It's got a nice texture to it, and it has a little bit of coverage, not a lot. But if you were looking just for very light coverage, a product like this might work for you. It's not even as tinted as a tinted moisturizer, I wouldn't say, and it's got more luminosity to it than a tinted moisturizer. But overall, I think it's a really great product. There's a lot in this bottle, so I think the way I'm using it, which is pretty sparingly, that it will probably last me a good long time. And I think that if you do have dark circles, like I do, that adding something like this that just brightens the area before you use your concealer, I find it to be really helpful. It's something I just started doing recently, and I think it does make a difference. For concealer today, I'm going to use the dredges of my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I wear it in shade 2 Light Vanilla. And this is a cult favorite product. I like this concealer, but I still feel like I need more coverage. So again, I mentioned this yesterday, but if anyone has any recommendations for any really high coverage concealers that are great for covering dark spots, please do let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear any recommendations, because for me, that is one of my greatest, I guess you would say, challenges, is the dark area under my eyes. Oh, I just started patting with my finger, but actually I do like to use I'll brush first before I use my concealer or my finger, just because I think it's a little bit gentler under the eye, and I always use outward strokes. I pick up the brush and put it down every time I drag it outwards. I just heard that that's better. You always want to work outwards, so that's what I do. I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, but it's a very sensitive area. So definitely want to avoid tugging on the under eye area as much as possible. So I think, you know, this does give me some coverage. Again, the lighting in here is not great, so it's overhead light, so you're really getting a lovely shadow on my under eyes. But I think if I tilt my head a little, you can tell that actually there is some coverage there. I'm gonna fill in my brows quickly with the same pencil I mentioned yesterday. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It has spoolie on one end and a pretty fine pencil on the other end. I like these kind of brow products. However, this one is not really the right shade for me. I need something a little bit ashier. So again, if anybody has any product recommends for a really ashy light brown shade, please do let me know. I like a pencil like this, and I like the dual-sided pencil, because who wants to, you know, have to use a different tool in addition to the pencil. So I do like these dual-sided products. Benefit makes a really good one, but it's pretty pricey. I've tried that one in the past and I do like it, but I ran through it very quickly and it's just too expensive considering how long it doesn't last. So this one from NYX is pretty good. Is that how you say it? Is it NYX or is it NYX? I'm not sure. I feel like I've heard both. Oops. So if you're gonna do nothing else, I think with mask face, doing your eyebrows really makes a difference. So for my festive holiday eye, I'm going to first use the Chanel Illusion d'Ombre in shade 95 Mirage. It's like a really pretty sort of, there we go, brown, bronzy brown shadow. I really like these shadows. I think they are Chanel's best shadows. The formula is more of a kind of moussey formula. These are a little bit older, so they're not quite as moussey as they once were, but they last forever, and I have often, I guess you would say, like, reconstituted them with just by adding a little bit of water. If they do get dry, I just put a little bit of water in it, and within like a day or two, it's really like back to being its original consistency. Maybe not its original consistency, but greatly improved. So, you know, if you do spend money on makeup products, there are, you know, some ways to make them last a little bit longer. So don't necessarily throw out something just because you've had it for a while and maybe, you know, the consistency has changed. Try, I'm not saying it's gonna work for everything, but it works for products like this. Try adding just a little bit of water to the container, the pot. If, you know, if it is in a package like this, it's a little bit harder to do in a palette or something, but I have had great success with reconstituting these, and I'm using, to put it on, the Chanel eyeshadow blender brush. It's number 19. when I use a little bit of a darker shade like this, I always concentrate a little bit more pigment on the outer corners of my eyes. And I keep it a little bit lighter towards the inner corners there, just because, as mentioned, I am pretty dark already in the inner corners, so no need to add any extra darkness there. And then just to make things a little bit more fun, I'm going to use this product, which I got in my Allure beauty box. It is something called, it's a brand I never heard of before. It's called Holidazzle. It's pretty packaging. It's like a liquid eyeshadow, and it is in the shade Leona. And it comes on like this little doe foot. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. And I think I have used it just as a like liner along my top lid. What am I gonna do with it today? You know, today I think I'm gonna just run it. I'm just gonna tap it lightly just along the center of my eye. And then I'm just gonna use the same brush, just clean it off my hand a little bit. I'm just gonna use that to just blend it out lightly. So I wanna keep most of that sparkle concentrated towards the center of my eye. Ooh, this is pretty. I think what I'm also gonna do is just clean the doe foot off a little bit. And then I'm gonna run it under. I'm gonna blend out my concealer with my finger a little more, because it's sinking into all those lovely fine lines. I think that even though I blend it with the brush, it needs to really get like pushed in. Okay, now I'm just gonna use the doe foot to just run a little of this on my lower lash line. Yay, it's pretty. Okay. Now on my upper lash line, I think I'm going to use a little brown eyeliner. This is one, it's from MAC. It is in the shade Photo Gravure. My French pronunciation is horrible, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna use this just in the waterline on my top lid, just to give my lashes a little more definition. And kind of to conceal the roots of my lashes. That's something I picked up from Violette. I didn't think of it that way before when I would do, I think they call it a tight line. That really, it's just kind of about concealing the roots of your lashes so that you have a little, just super subtle definition around the eyes. And I think especially for someone like me who's very fair, a little extra definition around the eyes is helpful. All right, next up is lashes, and I'm just going to curl them with my Shiseido eyelash curler that I've had since high school, my tried and true. If I don't end up posting yesterday's makeup tutorial, I will mention again that this is a really brilliant eyelash curler. I bought it when I was in high school. Actually, I think my mom bought it for me because I didn't have a job. And I have had it and used it. I use it every day. ever since. And so this has lasted me, I won't even tell you how many years. And Sephora still sells the little, you know, rubber replacement pad that goes in there, so you can replace those. So it's like, I mean, if you can buy one eyelash curler that's gonna last you for a lifetime, I say that is a worthy investment. Next up, I'm using a primer on my lashes. This is the Laura Geller Fortifying Lashes Eyelash Primer. And I think that one of the tricks I learned from one of the makeup artists who I represented, Jenna Menard, who works on Kerry Washington and Kate Winslet, she told me to always use 2 different mascaras that really, I mean, this was several years ago, so maybe there's something on the market now, like maybe the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, which I've heard great things about and really want to try. But Jenna told me that kind of you aren't going to get all the benefits that you might be looking for in a mascara with one formula. Generally, you know, one formula and one type of brush might thicken your lashes and add volume or lift, and other formulas and brush types will add length. So Jenna always recommended to use multiple layers of mascara, multiple formulas. I think 2 is enough. You know, I don't think she meant for you to do much more than that, but she said she always used 2 different mascaras. So if that's what Jenna says, that's what I'm gonna do. So then for the next layer, I'm gonna use this little sample that my mom got me of the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes. So I think Charlotte has several mascara formulas. This one has the classic sort of nylon bristle brush and is obviously meant for volumizing. So this mascara does give you some volume. For me, what I'm really looking for in a mascara more is length. I do need volume, but I think Jenna's trick of using multiple mascaras gets you that volume sort of regardless of the formula. So for me, I prefer a lengthening mascara, but you know, this is pretty good. This is the Bare Minerals Original Foundation Broad Spectrum SPF 15 in Fair 1. And I like this foundation. I'm not a big foundation person. I feel like sometimes it feels too heavy on my skin, or because I'm using Retin-A, it just really sits on the top of my skin. And I was reticent to try a powder foundation, but one of the YouTubers I watch, Josie Fashion Mumbler, who's just so cute, she recommended this, so I thought I would give it a try. I know that this particular formula has been around for ages and it's got a cult following and people really like it, and I feel like for my foundation needs, it's working. It does sit on top of my skin a little. It does sink into some of the lines, especially if I go a little bit heavier on the application, but not nearly as much as any of the liquid formulas that I have tried. And I have tried a lot of foundations. The Bare Minerals, I'm just gonna put kind of on just a light coverage, because again, I'm probably gonna be in a mask all day long, just on the areas where I have some redness, which tends to be mostly in my T-zone. I look very, very white now. So that's mainly where I concentrate my, you know, foundation. And then also it helps combat any oiliness that I might get throughout the day in that area. And actually, I feel like this, it's funny, I feel like this is a product that looks better the longer it sits on your skin, the longer it wears. It's like the oils in my skin help even it out and help that sort of problem that I experience with it sitting on the surface and like sticking to any dryness. I feel like through later in the day, I notice less of that. I don't know if it's just because it's like actually totally wearing off, or if it's just that the oils in my skin are coming to the surface and sort of hydrating the foundation. But I prefer the way this looks later in the day as opposed to when I first apply it. Okay, and then for just a little bit of color, since I'm looking rather ghostly, I'm gonna use this bronzer from Chanel. It is their Le Beige Healthy Glow Sheer Color. And this is in shade 30. And I just use it as a bronzer. I think this is actually meant to be also more of like a powder foundation, I think. But I use it as a bronzer just to add a little bit of color to my cheeks. And I really concentrate my bronzer more on the very outer region of my cheekbone. So by doing that, you're kind of creating a lift to your face, which is helpful as you're getting older, and really kind of blend it well into your hairline and like work it into like your temple. I just used the little brush that it came with and find that that is effective. I like the shape of this little brush that it comes with. And remember, you gotta wash these bad boys too when you're washing your brushes. Sometimes I forget about that. So just blend, blend, blend up into my temples, into my hairline. Already I'm looking healthier and glowier. And I do just a little down the bridge of my nose and a little across my forehead. I think maybe because I feel like I'm looking extra fair now that it's getting to be colder and I haven't really been outside at all. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do a nice little face self tan tomorrow morning. I feel like I could use a little bit more color. So next I'm gonna use just a little bit of blush. This is the NARS blush in Bumpy Ride, and I don't know what it is. I really like NARS's products. I love the pigmentation. Their packaging on their palettes like this and their multiple sticks is horrible. The packaging always breaks on me. I have had multiple eyeshadow palettes like this and blush palettes like this, as well as the multiples break. The packaging always falls apart. Case in point. And you can tell by looking at this that it's not that old and I haven't even used it that many times, and the packaging has completely fallen apart. So NARS, I love you, but you gotta rework this packaging. Also, it's too much plastic, and nobody really needs this mirror that just ends up in a landfill. So I'm gonna use this Chanel blush brush. It's their number 4 brush. And again, I keep the blush on, I would say, like the outer half or third of my cheek, and I blend it into the bronzer. And again, you want to keep the pigment higher up on your face. I do really like this color. It's really pretty. It's not far from the Orgasm shade. It's a little less peachy, a little more pinky. And then a little extra color, what's left on the brush. Okie dokie. I think that's pretty much it. Then usually when I'm done with my makeup, I use this brush from Erin. It's so pretty. I keep it out on my sink top because it's gold and jazzy. I usually use this brush at the end of my makeup routine. It's so soft and fluffy. I don't know what this is made out of, but it's like a kabuki brush and it's so soft. And then I just kind of blend the whole situation one more time. This is something I've been doing more of as I've been wearing like foundation. I feel like I need an extra blend after I've done anything, and I also will do that if I've done any like contouring. I usually save contouring for more of like an evening makeup look. All right, so that's it. I'm ready to get dressed and head up to Fifth Avenue. I'll see you there.